We believe that our findings have expanded the parameters of knowledge. We believe that our findings call for another look at the history of mankind. We believe that it is important that history be rewritten so that Africa's place, Black Africa's place in it, will be ensured. The contributions of Black Africans towards the making of world civilizations are what our findings are about. I am here on the invitation of the Harlem Book Fair, the largest Black book fair in the world, to present our new book, They Lived Before Adam. Its findings, the prehistoric origins of the Igbo, They Never Been Ruled. Alternative title is The Igbo Since 1.6 million BC. Two things mark out our work as a new, and as some say, groundbreaking addition to scholarship. The first is the discovery and transcription of lost stone writings of prehistoric Africans. These inscribed stones, located in southern Nigeria in a very rural place called Ekom in Cross River State, have been attracting international researchers since the colonial days, but we were the first to see their inscriptions as a form of writing and to actually isolate and transcribe some of its letters. Another series of stone inscriptions called Ogam, found in Ireland, which many linguists have been struggling with for decades, were also transcribed by our team into an African language still spoken today in Nigeria. In fact, some Ogam inscriptions were found in West Virginia in USA. What we have found in the case of the inscribed monolith of southeastern Nigeria, the monolith of Ekom, is that they contain two letters that were the foundation of proto-cuneiform, a writing system used in Mesopotamia or Sumer before 4000 BC. The letters in question are the letter Ki and the letter Shi, the first and the last of the old Sumerian orthography. We also found some basic letters of early Egyptian hieroglyphics, such as the letters R and the letters N on the stones of Ekom. But the majority of the letters on the stones are from a Dravidian Indian language called Malayalam, as well as symbols now recognized as universal due to the fact that they now form the root of most cultures, religions, and sciences in the world. These include the cross, the spiral, the triangle, the circle, the concentric circle, and every other known geometric shape. The antiquity of the stones and the fact that they were discovered in the virgin forest where many were buried underground shows that they were indigenous and that they belong to the twilight days of human history, prehistory indeed. Oral tradition of the natives of Ekom say that the inscriptions were executed by the Stone Age people, the first humans to inhabit the area, and that they were invented by the first mother of humankind. They call this first mother Shishe, and say that she was the first woman to have borne a child by pregnancy, and that her first child was a boy, through whom sin and death came into the world. The monolith dedicated to her in Ekom bear the name Shishe, just like the oral tradition, written in an orthography that includes proto-cuneiform, that is Sumerian proto-cuneiform, Proto-Canaanite, Dravidian Malayalam, and others. Her Ekom name, Shishe, is the same Hebrew name which Adam called Eve in the biblical story of creation. Her eyes and mouth form the Canaanite Hebrew letter Ayin, which is the first and highest sephira in the Hebrew Kabbalah. It represents the no thing, the infinite, the ineffable God. There are over 300 of these stones in Ekom, Nigeria. Another thing that marked a turning point in our research was the discovery by a team of archaeologists of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka of early Stone Age hand axes and other stone implements belonging to the time zone of 1.6 million BC to 500,000 BC. The archaeologists, Professor F.N. Anozie, Professor J.O. Ijoma, and others, working with some British faculty members of the Department of Archaeology, University of Nigeria and Nsukka in the 70s discovered several lorry loads of non-polished as well as polished hand axes, picks, and other implements in a place called Ugwele in the zone of Okigwe in southeastern Nigeria. Their conclusion, published in a number of local journals at the time, was that the Okigwe home of Homo erectus, or Nigerian early man, was the one-stop shop, the warehouse that supplied survival tools to all pockets of Homo erectus habitation worldwide. For us, this means that it was from Okigwe, prehistoric Nigeria, that the out of Africa migrations of early man took off to populate the 5 continents of the globe. More so because Homo erectus implements discovered all over the world all look like they were made in the same Okigwe factory. This was also the conclusion of the archaeologists. Our linguistic analysis of samples of words from a number of languages spoken in all 5 continents of the globe today confirm what several other linguists have long suspected and concluded, that mankind, as the Hebrew Bible says, spoke one language at the beginning. Our comparative linguistic analysis of words from many languages across the globe show that Igbo, the language group that includes Okigwe, the home of the Nigerian Homo erectus, was in fact spoken by the earliest inhabitants of countries as far-flung as Nigeria, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Turkey, India, China, Greece, United Kingdom, North America, South America, including the Greenland Eskimos. In fact, the 2 vernacular words that survived in Plato's description of Atlantis were found in sound and in meaning to have been directly derived from the Igbo language environment. So too were 90% of words used by Adam and his household, especially names of people and places and their meanings. Our research includes the origin and meanings of symbols used in every religion and sacred literature all over the world. In these, we found that Hebrew Bible, the Kabbalahs of the Hebrews and the Chinese, the Hindu Vedas and Ramayana, and the recently discovered Egyptian Christian Bible called the Nag Hammadi are of immense importance in revealing lost knowledge. Wherever we looked, we found evidence confirming the claims by geneticists who have been conducting mitochondrial DNA research in 4 leading universities here in USA, that all mankind came from sub-Saharan Africa, that Eve and Adam were black Africans. However, whereas it had been previously believed that Adam and Eve were descended from East African Lucy, our findings reveal that it was not an East African Lucy, but more like an Igbo Nigerian Chioma, who is actually from Okigwe, the home of the Homo erectus, who was Homo habilis ancestor of Eve and Adam. So what I'm saying is that it was not Eve, it was not Lucy, but rather a Nigerian Chioma, an Igbo Chioma, who was the ancestor, the Homo habilis ancestor of Homo erectus, who did the out of Africa migrations. We say this because research conducted by French paleontologists, led by Professor Michael Brunet, revealed that Australopithecus, the direct ancestor of Homo erectus, the ancestor of Homo sapiens, or Adam, lived at the Nigeria-Chad basin 7 million years, predating Lucy and even her newfound ancestors by a whopping 2 to 4 million years. This again confirms what Igbo oral traditions tell us, that we did not come from anywhere, that we are autochthons, that we are children of evolution, the uncreated, the never been ruled, the kings and queens of the earth and its peoples. First, Igbo oral traditions confirm the findings of geneticists that by 280,000 BC, human evolution was interrupted, and Adam, a hybrid, was created through the process of genetic engineering. However, our findings reveal that the creation of Adam was a downward climb on the evolutionary ladder because he lost his divine essence. He became divided, no longer whole or wholesome. All over Africa and in ancient Egyptian records, oral and written traditions maintain that Homo erectus people were heaven beings and possessed mystical powers such as telepathy, levitation, bilocation, that their words could move rocks and mountains and change the course of rivers. Adam lost all that when his right brain was shut down by those who made him, created him. The direct descendants of Homo erectus were the small dwarfs who were the heroes of folk tales in every part of the world. It was they who founded and sustained Igbo civilization, where they continued to function till they were driven out by colonialists only recently. It was they who transported Igbo language and culture to all corners of the globe. Therefore, we say that the things falling apart, which you read about in Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, to whom this publication, The Lead Before Adam, is dedicated, refers to the falling apart not only of the Igbo of the colonial period, but of the prehistoric Igbos, the ancestors of mankind. Adam, who was taken from his Nigerian ancestry and moved and changed and altered and made to become less than his ancestry. The significance of this research work confirms both theories of evolutionism, as well as creationism. That these two theories played some part in the development of the human species. That indeed mankind is one family, and Black Africans are the oldest ancestors of humankind, and the first to be called Homo. That the lost paradise of Eden was an African location. That in fact, it was a West African and Nigerian location. And that the solutions to the problems created by modernity through the fall of Adam are to be sought in Black Africa. Thank you so much. God bless.
We're going to open up the floor for questions. If anyone has questions, I assume there are two mics. There's a mic on this side. Please feel free to step up to the mic and pose any questions that you might have for the author this afternoon. Don't be shy.
My name is Dominic Parison. I'm an architect, also a professor at the City University of New York City College of Technology, and I find your information to be very, very interesting in essence. And the reason why is because there are stories that we've all been listening to and hearing for the past centuries. And most of the stories that we've been listening to were certainly more of what we call folktales. And at times when we're not educated in terms of the process of reading certain documentation in regards to whether it's bibliotech or whether it's about the existence of mankind or the existentiality. And my question to you is that how does that book pertaining to they lived before Adam defined the stories of the Bible itself or the bibliotech in a sense?
Well, we've spoken about the beginnings of humankind. We've spoken about evolution and then creationism. It's clear where Adam falls into that story. There is science and there is religion. Religion deals with issues of faith. And mostly, we don't deal with issues of faith when we do research, because we believe that stories in the Bible, for example, as well as in some other scriptures, are like what you call folk tales and oral traditions. They are condensed information, condensed in such a way that the essentials are there, but the details are not often there. In the case of the creation of Adam and how it how it relates to the 280,000 280,000 years ago event when suddenly Homo sapiens sprung up, different from his ancestor, Homo erectus, and without a proper and normal, evolutionary growth that would have permitted that. Geneticists tell us that this showed that something happened. Someone affected, put a hand in the evolutionary process and interrupted it. And so the story we have in the Bible is actually, the story we have in the Bible is the process whereby a man and a woman who used to be naked and didn't know how to farm, didn't know how to, were not bearing children by the process of sex, suddenly changed and realized they were naked and or whatnot. So that's the point where creationism crosses the path of evolution. So that's all I can say at this point.
Dr. Acholonu, my name is Stephen Thompson. My question is, the region where you found the stone inscriptions, would that have been the region where the Nok or Nok culture was located? Now, when I say Nok or Nok, I'm spelling it with a capital N-O-K. Would they have been somehow related?
Yes, the answer is yes. Because in the between 9,000 BC and 5,000 BC, we discovered that there was a thriving civilization called Biafra in the area of Nigeria, Cameroon. And that civilization was a mighty civilization, and it enveloped much of Nigeria and the Cameroons and some environs. Its center was where you now call Nok. Ecom appears to be its library, where information was stored in the remote forests for safekeeping, so to say.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's about all the time that we have for questions right now. We're going to be taking a short 10-minute break.